sure. Comes Groundhog's Day after a while. Let's see what might be over here. Same thing every day, over and over. But
It is 10. You said 9 yesterday.
Well, I just want to be sure. Practice number 10. Okay, we're over 1/3 of the way of our 29 opportunities, and I think we're making progress. I think today, they were tired. I think if it was hot, really hot, I think it would have got them. They got through it. I think they tried to push through it, but you could see the effects of camp starting to show with their energy level, and that's when you gotta dig a little deeper. We're in the fourth quarter. You're a little bit fatigued, but you got to make a play. And I thought the number 1 offense had a really good day today. It's either that or the number 2 defense had a really bad day, one of the two. But no, I think the offense has really made a lot of improvement. I think the offensive line is coming along. Number 1 defense had a good day as well. But I just saw a little bit less of the spark and energy that I've been seeing. So I can't say that I was just totally thrilled. But we got the work in, and I think I do think we still got better. So anyway, y'all can ask me whatever you want.
We're supposed to get a chance to talk to some of the true freshmen today. It appears, at least at the portions that we get to see, that John and Theus is really solidified at that right tackle position.
I don't know if he's solidified. I don't know if I'd name him the starter right now, but he's definitely lining up number 1 right tackle, and is getting better every day. I think the entire line has really made improvement. 1s and 2s. But yeah, John's getting there. He's got a ways to go, but he's getting there. All the true freshmen. I mean, really, you got him and Pike getting a ton of reps. Both freshman backs getting a ton of reps. Quavon's getting a ton of reps. Ty's getting a bunch of reps. Blake Tibbs getting a bunch of reps. I mean, those kids are getting a lot of opportunity to show what they can do, and I think that the great majority of them will play this year and help us offensively. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the same. You talked to the defensive kids yesterday, but I think the offensive freshmen are in a position to help us.
Are y'all doing anything, implementing any of the first game plan for Buffalo yet, or that'll be a little while later?
It's still a little ways to go, and we're not 100% sure what they're going to do. They've got there's a new defensive coordinator, if I'm not mistaken, and it's offensively not 100% sure. But neither offense or defense has moved into the first game mode yet. Well, it's usually about 8 to 10 practices out that we start, get some scout team work and start focusing on that.
Mark, how beneficial is it to kind of identify that first 5 on the offensive line? I know Burnett was out a couple of days, but just to get some continuity there.
That's important. It's very important. And I mean, right now, I do feel good about Theus at right tackle and Burnett at right guard, Bossage center, Lee left guard, and Gates left tackle. I mean, that's been the lineup that's probably been together the most snaps with the 1s, and they are beginning to gel and play well. I think Watts is certainly has a chance to still compete for a starting position. He could play tackle or guard, which is good. Overall guys I think are improving. The more reps you get, the better you get. It's just the way it is.
Is it safe to say that Hicks, Marshall, Gurley, none would be considered for redshirt this year? No. They're going to have to play.
No, they're playing.
It looked like Watts was lined up at right guard some just while we were out there. Is
Yes.
that what they're doing? Right tackle, right guard?
Right tackle, right guard for Watts. And then Burnett's got to get some center here and there. I mean, he's really our true number 2 center. I think Lee can do it if he had to, but if something were to happen to Boss, it'd be, I think we'd put Burnett in there and put Watts at right guard and play ball.
Just because it's not a position of need, we really haven't asked much about Fatone, but I mean, where are you seeing that in him?
Fatone's learning, you know, he's not getting a ton of reps. He's getting some reps. We've got, of course, Murray and Hudson and LeMay getting the majority of the reps. And, you know, Parker Welch is really, he's been in the program a while. He really understands what's going on, and Parker's getting some reps as well. So Fatone's not getting a ton of them. You know, Parker and him are probably getting about the same, but Parker's earned some reps as well. And so it's just a matter of learning, and sometimes it is harder to learn when you're trying to learn with a few amount of opportunities. So, but you know, we're not expecting him to have to play for us this year, and you know, more than likely he'll redshirt. And but while in doing that, it's just like when Murray redshirted. Murray took advantage of that time. He studied. He got better. And Fatone, he may study more than Murray did. I mean, Fatone, he prepares extremely well. So he'll get better, whether he gets a lot of reps or not. But you know, more than likely he won't have to play this year.
Is it still in the discussion for him to maybe try another position at some point?
No, not this minute. We haven't even thought of that right now.
After Rambo and Sean Williams, who are the safeties that you've seen that are most ready to get on the field?
You know, I'd say Connor and Moore right now.
I'm trying to remember what.
You know, excuse me, I just kind of finished that thought. You know, Josh is getting work, and Josh Harvey Clemens, and he's getting a lot of work in the nickel position. Not you know, we're trying to make sure he'll know a certain position.
Is there anybody cross training with any of the cornerbacks for the also?
Well, always Sanders, you know.
Yeah.
Always Sanders.
I'm trying to remember when exactly will some of the depth charts start shaping up as far as in camp, and then where do you see what positions is there a chance for the most mobility?
Mobility in that movement on the depth chart?
Yeah.
First of all, the depth chart in camp, I don't even know if we post depth charts, you know, every day or after a scrimmage or whatever. I think each position coach just kind of covers it in his meeting if there's some type of a change. And when you spend a lot of time installing stuff and just working a lot of players, you're just trying to get as many guys prepared as possible. You're not really thinking about who's starting and who's not. I mean, we do line up. I mean, when we put the first unit out there, I mean, we certainly know who's first team and second team, but we don't. I know fans like to focus on what's happening with the depth chart, and I'm sure that's why the media wants to get that information. But we don't focus much on that right now. When you start. By the time we play that practice game, that scrimmage we do, it's a practice game for Buffalo, and that's where you start really nailing down, you know, who the starters are and who's going to play, you know, who's going to actually get in the game, and so it'll be a little while.
Gurley and Marshall, what have they, at this point, how close are they in terms of knowledge of the offense?
They're getting there. They're getting there. You can't ever be comfortable with it until you get enough reps and experience, even in the games, but. They know enough to function. You know, to get reps in a ball game, there's no doubt they know enough to do that. And would I be totally comfortable in certain situations, certain plays? You know, probably not with either one of them yet, but they're getting there. There's a nice, really nice pickup of a blitz today that was a little bit. It was one of those last second. Defense showed a look where you had to make a last second change of assignments, and they got the assignment, and they stuck their hat on the guy, and the ball got ball got completed, because the quarterback had the opportunity to get the ball off. Now, it was the pocket was too close to the quarterback. I mean, he got it off. You'd like more space. You'd like to protect them out a little farther away from your quarterback, but they were kind of getting knocked back into the QB. But when you know your assignment and you stick your hat on the guy, even if you get knocked back or run over, a lot of times that provides just enough time for the ball to get thrown. So it was a good sign.
Mark, there's some speculation because of the numbers you have on the defensive front and the veterans there that Jonathan Taylor may be redshirted. Is that something that's too early?
I don't know. We just got to keep playing and practicing, and you just don't know what happens with your depth sometimes. I mean, sometimes one day you're feeling good, and the next day you're looking for John and who's behind him. So he's just got to keep working.
He's played behind a lot of good guys. Is he? But he's still progressing.
He's getting good reps, and he's learning too. But very big, athletic guy. That he seems to really like football. He seems to be coachable, teachable. He's eager to. I think all the freshmen are pretty eager to learn. I think now that camps are a little bit different than they used to be. They used to be just hook it up in 2-a-days from the get-go and go 2 weeks of 2-a-days, and I've seen more freshmen kind of wilt and fall by the wayside, but the way it's structured now with the 5 days acclimation and 2-1, 2-1, it's not quite as physically demanding as it's been in the past, just by virtue of the NCAA rules. So I think they manage that better, and they also probably manage the fact, like I mentioned before, when a kid comes in June, stays all of June, all of July, works out with your strength staff, has some familiarity with the team, has some familiarity with the defense. It's just not as overwhelming as it used to be.
Would you prefer to have to ease Marshall and Gurley into playing time, or are you? I mean, ideally, it's just.
I just think whoever's the most productive, we got to get him in the game. So if it's one of those two guys, we'll get them in there. I mean, if they're in there a lot, it probably means they're doing good. I mean, it's a good sign. I'm not afraid to play them. I mean, we're definitely going to play them. Just a matter of how much.
With having them there in all spring practice and so far fall camp, how would you assess Kennard's Gates at this point?
Gates has done well. Gates had a good practice today, I noticed. He's just kind of a quiet guy. I mean, around the coaches anyway, during practice, he doesn't say a whole lot. He just shows up and works. And of course, he was a guy that we didn't even offer until the day before signing date. And he decided to come and became, one of the better linemen in that class. And now he's our starting left tackle, so he's done well.
Ray Drew's been out, I guess, a little bit now. Concussions can be kind of weird.
Yeah.
Do you expect to get him back soon?
I don't know. We, as you all know, or I think you all know, we've got when a guy's concussion, he has to get where he has no symptoms, and then we begin to exert him away from practice to see if that causes any issues, and if we can exert him physically without any more issues, then it won't be long before he gets to go back to a contact situation in practice. And I'm not sure if we're even asymptomatic yet on him.
You said one day, maybe 3 or 4 days ago, that after the coaches got done grading the scrimmage, you want to sit down in the meeting and say, put your guys up on the board.
Yeah.
You're 7.
Yeah.
And that sometimes that might be 76. Did you do that?
Yeah, we did that yesterday, and we basically had each coach put on the board if we were traveling tomorrow who'd be on it, and and the reason why I do that exercise is to make sure that these coaches that are working their special teams, if they get everybody they want on the board, and we realize we got 76 or 77 or 80 or whatever it is, then all of a sudden guys have to come off the board. Then a guy they've been working all during camp for these 29 practices, it's like, oh, all of a sudden he can't come and play. So, but once we got them all on the board, really the only game that we have the issue is game 2. within the first 4 ball games, you know, so, cause we're home, the other ones. And, of course, the 2 non-conference games, we can have as many as we want. The 1 home game, we can go to 80, that's SEC, Vanderbilt, but the one we gotta travel is Missouri, so. But the bottom line was when we, put the names on the board, we were in good shape. We knew we were practicing the right guys, and we were fine. We'll tilt a couple names where like it's, hey, if there's room, I'd like him to come, but if there's no room, we're okay type guys. So there was a couple that were tilted that, you know, maybe would have had to come off the board, but they weren't guys that we needed to function in that ball game.
Yeah. So you were only a couple over when you just
Yeah, just
threw
a couple.
everybody.
Have one more.
Were you, given that, is the worry about only being at 70 scholarships or whatever it is among fans, is that overblown, or does it worry you too?
Well, I think so. No, I think just watching our special teams work, the amount of depth that we have right this moment, you know, I think we're fine, because again, you know, the bottom line is you can only bring 70 guys on the trip, and the reality is most every year 2, 3, 4 of those cats are walk-ons anyway, so you might have 65 scholarship guys traveling that are ready to play football in an SEC game. So what you hope is, as you're going through practice, you know, if you get a lot of injuries, of course you got issues, but we've been pretty fortunate in that area going into this camp and stayed. We've had a few things that I don't know if we've had anything that would end anybody's season. We've had some things that might keep a guy out a little while, you know, concussions, pulled muscles, things like that, but it's been pretty good.
Go ahead, Charles, do you have one?
Yeah.
You're moving pretty fast on the field, obviously, on offense when we're in no huddle, and I'm wondering for a freshman, either a right tackle or a running back, how does that affect their ability to, you know, to get up to speed with that?
Yeah, it's a little tougher with the no huddle. Usually you call the play in the huddle, or back in the day, you'd call play in the huddle, and then you'd break the huddle, and you'd have time to think of it from breaking it to the line, and you'd have a pretty good idea of what your assignment was going to be as you're going up there. But now, 2 things are different. One is the tempo of our no huddle. So instead of being in the huddle, we're on the line of scrimmage, basically calling the play through code names and hand signals, things like that. And so so you're wanting to snap the ball quicker than what it would be if you were breaking the huddle. As far as the time from hearing the play to snap, it's less time. So that is an issue. And the other issue is there's so many things happening up front, and in just defensively, there's so many. They're showing you one thing and then they're spinning to another, and nowadays you just can't call that play and run it no matter what. I don't think you can do that anymore. There's certain plays you can, but there's a lot of plays that you'll get to the line, you call the play, and then they'll spin their defense over here, and you got to run it over there, or they'll have a blitz over here, and you got to slide the protection over there. So now, not only is there not much time between hearing the play and snapping the ball in a normal situation, now if they shift, do something late, and the quarterback's like, you know, easy, and then I'm going to make an audible, and they got to think just that much faster, and then the ball's going to be snapped within a matter of a moment or 2. So that's tougher on young guys than it used to be. You get back in the huddle, call the play, think about it, go to the line, and snap it. It's just different. It's a lot harder now.
Thanks.